I got a whole page too. Y'all can't see that, but I got a whole page too on this guy, man. A lot of people turning their back on Mr. Dan Lanning in his fourth year right here at Oregon. He was 13-1, the coldest team to transition over into the Big Ten to be a factor immediately, right? And they turned their back on this guy, Dan Lanning. He returns 8 on offense, 6 on defense. Dante Moore, right? Um, People not expecting a lot out of Dante Moore. Big high. My man Wine put me on the Dante Moore back when he was at UCLA, but big highly recruited guy, huge skill set. This is a quality guy right here. The whole having to sit down and watch Dylan Gabriel before he comes in, I'm expecting a leap on Dante Moore. And don't forget, at UCLA, it was his team for a minute. He was young. We got a little excited, and they had to take him up out of there. But he sat down with a guy like Dan Lanning. He's learning the game really good. I think he's going to be a shocker, maybe even a Heisman candidate, believe it or not. But I don't see no reason for Oregon to regress right here. If they could travel well and did what they did last year, that tells me a lot. So far, overlooking the whole team, basically the most troublesome spot on the field is in the secondary, where they got a lot of changes going on right there. But you playing in the Big Ten, it's not like they got super fast guys out there. Ohio State, a couple of the big teams, they got some talented players, but week to week, some of those guys can't compete with the speed. But the running game was very, very effective. I expect in the second year, there's no more surprise factor for him, with his coaching style and his plays and all that stuff. They got tape on him now. It's going to be a little bit different. But what he does in the running game with zone run and being able to block these guys and get these guys out the backfield is amazing. That it transferred over into 13-1 last year. I can't turn my back on Oregon. Still top 3 in my book in the Big Ten going into it. Y'all gonna have to prove me wrong in this one to say that a guy in his fourth year, I'm a fourth year is my guys. When a guy shows up in the fourth year with something at least chunky as like 8 on offense, he could have did a little better returning people on the defense. But it's all about how many homegrown guys you can get to return in your fourth year. I think Dan Lanning, I don't know if he wins it all or if he goes too far in the playoffs, but I think he does well again in the Big Ten, and Oregon is still a top 3 school in the Big Ten. Tell me I'm lying, Moose.
You're lying. Dante Moore is not him. He is not that guy. There is nothing that I have seen from him that makes me think that he is immediately going to be a Heisman type candidate. It wasn't just that he was throwing the ball poorly. It was a lot of decision making. You mentioned it. Got a little too excited, and some of that decision making. Well, now he's in Oregon, and that's going to be excitement central. I mean, you're wearing a different uniform every single game. I mean, there's nothing more exciting than get that fresh new uni put on you. And Dan Lanning has had the luxury of having veteran quarterbacks each year. When he got there, he had Bo Nix, and Bo Nix was a veteran, and he was from the SEC and was very talented. And now you're seeing him perform at the NFL. And then he gets Dylan Gabriel. And this is going to be the first year where you actually see a young, inexperienced quarterback in the Dan Lanning system. And he doesn't exactly surround him with the best talent. Like, he doesn't have the Ohio State type talent. He doesn't have the Penn State type talent. He's got very good talent. Don't get me wrong. You look at running back, Mekhi Hughes is legit. He is a veteran, experienced running back coming over from Tulane. Noah Whittington returns, but he was barely used last year. And the report coming out of Columbus is that you're going to have the 1-2 punch of essentially Hughes and Whittington. There are other guys that did return. Jay Harris returned. Jaden Lamar returned. DeJuan Ruggs returns. Riggs, I'm sorry. But it is a very talented group. It's just a group that I have not seen perform all that much at the Big Ten level. The receiving core is solid, but you are seeing, some players brought in. I mean, Malik Benson comes in from Florida State. He is a former number 1 JC wide receiver prospect. DeCorian Moore is a number 1 wide receiver recruit in the country, and he's very young and experienced. We've seen wide receiver has had some very good results recently with those freshman recruits that have come in. You saw Jeremiah Smith. You've also seen, oh my God, why am I blanking on Alabama? Somebody help me.
No,
Alabama.
I don't know why I can't think of it right now.
Why am I blanking on this? He's like, I haven't written. Yeah. Is anybody in the chat? You got Alabama receiver. But anyways, so you've got a lot of kind of new pieces coming in. The O-line is pretty solid. But again, it is a new O-line. You've got 4 transfers that all came in that are all expected to start. You got one from Indiana, USC, Texas State, Nevada, and they are big. It's going to be a rather large line, 6'6", 6'3", 6'6", 6'8". So it's going to be a large line, and it's an experienced offensive line. And you do have a offensive coordinator that is returning, but they are using a co-OC system, which I am not a fan of. I do not like having multiple cooks in the kitchen. So you're going to have multiple people in there. The offense underperformed a bit given the level of talent that you had earlier in the year, and then they started really, clicking. The last year they averaged almost 35 points a game. They are expected to score about 35 points a game this year. But it's a lot of around Dante Moore, how well he's going to play. The defense should be pretty solid, but that secondary is definitely a little bit of a question mark, even though it is ranked preseason as the 14th best secondary in the country. Their schedule is very tough. At 10.5 wins, I do not see them getting to 11. I actually bet their win total under 10.5.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to ask you a question real quick. I'm going to let you tell the chat because I got to go.
Ryan Williams, there you go.
Boy. I got a question for you on that one, though, Moose.
Yeah.
Late September, Oregon versus September 27th, to be exact. Oregon versus Penn State. In any way, shape, or form, Oregon walks away with the win. How do you think about Oregon then?
I'll probably still think they might be Fugazi. I mean, honestly, it's going to take a lot for me to buy in on Dante Moore because he's capable of really good games. It's going to have to be a sample size from everything before. If he plays well, hey, I've seen young quarterbacks play well in big games, but it's the consistency factor. And that's something that you don't really have with a lot of freshman quarterbacks is that they are just consistent, game 1 to game 13. You are going to see those ups and downs. And if he has a great game against Penn State, hey, awesome, fantastic. But I still think there's going to be slip-ups. And I think some of the slip-ups are going to happen in spots that you're not exactly expecting them to happen. I think the Rutgers spot is kind of a tough one because it's sandwiched in between home games against Indiana and Wisconsin, 2 programs that should be very much in the mix with a Rutgers program that's not necessarily supposed to compete. I kind of think that might be a tough travel spot as well, having to go all the way across the country. It's not one of those things where one game, like I said with Ohio State, where one game I'm going to want to buy in. This would be a little bit different given the fact that I have not seen a young quarterback in a Dan Lanning system yet, and I'm going to want to see more versus Ryan Day, who has developed some of that talent, and we've seen it perform on the field. I'm going to have to see it consistently throughout the season for me to be like, all right, Oregon's for real. I was wrong, and I'm going to have to make an adjustment here.
Hey, I like it. Only reason I mention this because I want the people to know how convinced you are to what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's why I love having conversations with cappers like yourselves, where a person through their rebuttal or their side of it, opinion, whatever you want to call it, because they become more convinced in what they believe in by going down those other tunnels. But that's just some crazy stuff. Big shout out to my guy JT in the building. We need you in here, and my man Nasty Nate is in the building. Big shout out to Andrew G. Shout out to who else is in this bad boy? My man Dab. We are Spoons. OE. All y'all, man. I'm gonna go take a quick little run and wine time. Let them know where you're at with this Oregon team.
Yeah, I'm in a similar spot. I do have Oregon and Illinois right there between 3 and 4 in my power rankings. I didn't really know. I have Oregon at 3 and Illinois at 4 as of right now. But, I don't know about the Dante Moore situation. I saw him at UCLA. He does seem confident at times, but then at times when regression happens, it just seems like he kind of just like gives up in a way. give or take, he was a true freshman thrown into kind of the fire. He shouldn't have started that year. It should have been Ethan Garbers from everything I heard. It was just kind of pressure coming in with a 5-star commit, never put that money towards a quarterback before. And then you give him a true freshman quarterback, or true freshman wide receiver and 5-star Decorian Moore. This guy, in my opinion, was probably one of the best athletes to come out of high school this last year. If you look at his highlight tape, I understand why Simpson was a 5-star pick or 5-star product because of this kid. It kind of reminds me of the Josh Rosen to Jaleel Wadood. And Jaleel Wadood ended up playing defense in college at UCLA, but he ended up winning Offensive Player of the Year his senior year. And if you looked at the highlight tape, man, he made that quarterback, and it really seems like Decorian Moore kind of did that. Decorian Moore, his route running is just absolutely insane, and I think this guy's going to make an immediate impact. It is going to be interesting to see with a young quarterback like Dante Moore. I shouldn't even say young. I mean, this guy's 3 years into college football now. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's learned the system in Wilstein's offense. Dante Moore has every tool to be really good at this level, guys. I mean, he's got every tool. He can throw the deep ball. It's just his decision-making, especially in pressured situations. I can't tell you how many times I saw him throw a pick six against good defenses from the Pac-12 a couple years ago. Do you think Oregon still has enough athletes on this team to, make another Big Ten title run? They grabbed Talim, running back, and McKee Hughes, who is projected to be the RB1, but it probably will be a 1-2 punch. They grabbed left tackle Isaiah World from Nevada, who's a projected first-round pick in this year's draft. This guy should do his end of the bargain on the offensive line. Grab defensive tackle Barrett Alexander from USC, who sometimes question if he even wants to play football at times. They do grab the strong safety Dylan Thieneman from Purdue, who led the entire Big Ten in tackles last year. This guy was all over the field for Purdue last year, and he's got a nice little paycheck to come to Oregon. Dante Moore does have a lot of weapons at his disposal here. It just depends on if he can actually come up in the big situations. It's going to be interesting to see because he's going to be playing in some hostile environments like Penn State pretty early in the year, places like Iowa. I have Penn State and Iowa automatic losses for Oregon, and one other game potentially, but I've seen Dante Moore go to hostile environments and not perform well. And I think, well, sorry, I got to put my shit on. Do not disturb, guys. But yeah, I like this Oregon team. I do have them still 3 above Illinois, but I think them and Illinois are right there at 3 and 4. My top 4, pretty much every probably outlet has these teams as the top 4. My 5 will surprise everyone in here, including both of you guys. But I like Oregon going to this year, but I think they will go under their win total. They take a step back. There's no way they go win 13 games, go 13-1 and lose. What was it? First round of the playoffs? Well, they got a first round bye, so second round, I guess you could say. But I would be surprised if they make a playoff run. I'm not sure. I don't know if I believe in Dante Moore yet. He's got to show me in a hostile environment, and Penn State will be a big test in week 4, I believe. So,
all right, Big Boss, I do have a follow up now that line time kind of refreshed my memory here. Do you guys think there might be any residual effects of that absolute beatdown that Ohio State handed them in the Rose Bowl, and the fact that right after that, Dan Lanning got a 6-year massive contract extension? What was it? 6-year contract extension after the season last year. And I think it makes him one of the top 5 highest paid coaches in college football. Is there any residual effect from a team that got beat down in the playoffs and a coach that just got paid? Does that change any kind of perspective going into the season?
Absolutely. They go into this with all of their horns up. The coaches even buying in this year for that game and all that good stuff. Remember that they played twice, right? Last year they played in the Big Ten championship, and then they played.
Yeah, they played twice. They beat them earlier in the year.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
guess what that equals. Guess what that equals. We got a new rival, ladies and gentlemen. Line it up. We got the rival set up already. Second year in the conference, we already got a rival right here with 2 juggernauts. Great. It's great marketing. It's great promotion. It's great, all that stuff. But in real life, it really happened, though. It was really happened on the field and all that. And it makes sense. Them coming into this conference, they got to have somebody as a rival. You know what I'm saying? They can't They're just going to keep beefing with USC and UCLA, even though they're in the Big Ten. They got to get out there and touch them waters. They got to come up with a beef with Michigan. This all happened organically. So I'm pretty sure that all those schools financially is eating that up. You want to respond to that one, Wine, before I jump to the next one?
No, I agree with you guys. Let's move on to the next game. I can just ramble on and on, guys. So I don't want to go too. I don't want to ramble too much about Oregon because you guys are gonna be very surprised at who my number 5 team is in the power rankings if we get there. But carry on, boss.
Let's go to the next one right here. That's going to bring us over to